Hey everybody, it's Stock Picks by Tim, and I've got some stocks for you to keep an eye on. I'm just going to go through these really quickly, but first off, I want to talk about Astra. We were at a 52-week low of about 426. Right now we're at about 480, and looking at the chart, we did have somewhat of a cup and handle, it looks like. And we are just waiting for the FAA launch license. They did test their rocket. Everything went fine. They had their static fire. Now they're just waiting for their FAA launch license. So this is another catalyst that will likely make Astra run up. Now I'm going to give you my thoughts on first, if the launch just happens out of the blue, we just get that FAA launch and then we just go and there's no real like launch date, it just happens really quick and just happens, then I think there's going to be a quick spike and a quick come down just like last time. However, if they give a date and say it's a week out from now or something like that, 2 weeks out from now, I think we'll have a slow move upwards until we have that launch and then a quick run up and a quick profit taking. Now, if you're a day trader, you definitely want to get in and get out quick on this launch news. Once it happens, it might have a rally the next day. So on the last launch, it was a Saturday, and then on the pre-market that Monday, it ran up a little bit, and then into the market ran up a little bit more, and throughout the rest of the day, it just took most of it back. And since then, we've been downtrending. Small caps have been getting destroyed. We all know this. I think it's a fantastic time to just continue to average in. If you're short term, keep an eye on this catalyst. I think it is going to cause this to run up, and it's going to be pretty quick. I think it'll just come and go like last time. However, I'm long term on this. If they can do this successfully for 2 times in a row now, just gives me more reason to stick around with Astra, especially at this price. Now let's get into the next one. So this is old news now, but they did obtain their charter to become a national bank. Now, one of the stipulations, however, is that they are going to need to figure something out with their crypto. They're not allowed to be a bank and hold crypto, I believe, something like that. So maybe they'll make a small acquisition. Maybe they'll find a subsidiary that can hold that crypto for them. I'm sure there's a way around this. I'm sure they'll figure it out. And hopping over to Sofi's chart, now you'll see this head and shoulders. The formation is complete. We got back to that base that it started at. And now we've just been kind of continuing in this $12 range. We had a 52-week low of about 1183. I kind of doubt it's going to come there again. I think this is our base. We kind of double bottomed. We're trading a little bit sideways. We're about to get through this Fed meeting. So watch that coming up here. It might have already happened by the time you watch this. So depending on what the Fed does, if they raise interest higher than expected, likely that these small caps can come down even more. However, if nothing surprising happens, this will probably do all right. I don't think it's going to come down much more. I have a lot of faith in SoFi, but I am likely going to add a little bit more to my position, especially while it's here in this like $11, $12 range. I'm going to continue to load up. I'm more than happy to continue to buy SoFi. Although MACD-wise, we're looking a little bearish. RSI is going down, somewhat neutral though, and we aren't holding above any of the EMAs there. So could come down a little bit further. I think once this catalyst of the Fed speech is past us, and depending on what they say, of course, I think that downward pressure, we won't have that downward pressure as much, and this can continue higher. I think all these small caps have been just absolutely decimated. And that's where I've been putting my money. 90% of the stocks I've been looking at are small caps, 10% large caps. Like, Facebook right now to me looks good. Amazon, I believe, is under $3,000. That looks good. Well, anyways, let's get into the next one here. Next up, Palantir, another one that has quickly recovered from its lows of about 1175. We may come back down and retest it. However, just looking at this, it looks like we had a lot of buying pressure coming in and just continuing. I absolutely love Palantir at this price. And it's just crazy how much it actually has recently sold off. We did just fill our gap here. It's almost like the stock literally set out to do just that. Filled that gap and then came down. We might come down, test that $12 range. I'm more than happy to continue to buy. I'd say Palantir is more of a mid cap, but it's just crazy to me how all these small caps and some of these mid caps have just sold off ridiculously. But to me, long term, it's a buying opportunity. And this is at that price where I'm pretty comfortable even with calls, like 2023 calls. Could even go with some cash secured puts with Palantir. Definitely a lot of ways to play this one. I wouldn't necessarily short it at this price. It's already came down so far. I think that ship has sailed. If you were planning on shorting this, should have shorted it around, 18 once we broke down under 20, continued downwards. 18 or so would have been a great time. I wouldn't short it here. I wouldn't personally short it here. I just feel like there's more risk at this current level. To me, there's more upside and less downside with Palantir at this level. I could be wrong, But it gets to a point where, you know, the risk to reward ratio just gets kind of out of whack, and you see way more reward than risk with something like Palantir. And I think now's a prime time to continue to average in. But that's basically it for Palantir. Let's get to the next one. All right, now next up is Cleveland Cliffs, and this one's actually following a bit of a trend, so keep an eye on this one. See that it follows this trend and moves further. Looking at Cleveland Cliffs, I think it's a great price to buy now. I thought it was a great price even under 20. I do like to trim at the $23 range, and I've been adding since it hit about $21. And looking at it, we're at a PE ratio of about 4. We're only at about an $8 billion market cap, so this is kind of in that smaller cap range. I think Cleveland Cliffs is a fantastic one to buy, and I do expect it to do good in 2022. They are the largest North American rolled steel producer, and I think it's a pretty solid stock. And they also offer a dividend. And yeah, you know, nothing exciting about this one. Not many YouTubers talk about this one. I think it's a fantastic time to buy. You know, not an exciting stock. It's boring, but hey, I think there's definitely money to make on Cleveland Cliffs at this current share price. And the ticker on this one is CLF. Now let's get into the next one. And next up, we've got CleanSpark. I think this is another one at this price. If you're long term, this is a great time to buy. Short term, I mean, it looks to me like we're trying to build out this support. We bounced off it here, bounced again. We did break it, but then we were quick to recover. And this was an overall market thing. This wasn't just CleanSpark. You'll see a lot of stocks gap down, came down further, and then ran up. To me, and a lot of other YouTubers have mentioned this too, it seems to be like the big market movers kind of letting the Fed know, hey, don't mess around. You better not spook the market. We're in control. You're not in control. That to me is kind of what this is signaling. For me, long-term CleanSpark is a strong buy. I absolutely love this stock. I will keep buying it. And we did break that $7 support, which was our last support, but it looks like we are kind of establishing this like $6.30 range. We are trying to hold this. I'm more than happy to continue to average into CleanSpark. And yeah, that's basically it. Just a lot of stocks have been downtrending, but have recently recovered. So we'll see where they go from here. Even with this small recovery that some of them have, while they are near their 52-week low, some are $1, $2 over it, I still think they're at a great time to average in. And you need to consider how far we've fallen. I mean, CleanSpark, we were in the 30s. Recently we were in the 20s, but about a year ago, we were, up there in the 30s not that long ago. Now, one thing to consider with CleanSpark is what Bitcoin is doing. And lately, Bitcoin's actually been doing pretty good. Bitcoin has been doing pretty good. There's a lot of other Bitcoin miners out there. You've got your, Riot blockchains, your Hut 8s, your 3D Sphere. That I think is a strong buy if you're confident with the executive team. If you're confident with Griffin, they are still working on their merger. But that's basically it for you guys. There's a lot of deals out there, there's a lot of stocks. Look at Indie at this price. We're over here with a 21 PE now. This is still a new stock. This is still new. They came out as a SPAC and they're continuing to grow. I have huge expectations for Indie. I'm more than happy to buy it at this price. We are under $1 billion market cap. I mean, let's go to the next here. Another one that has exponential growth in front of it, ChargePoint, market leader in EV charging. And I think there's a strong buy at this current level, and I will continue to add in and average down. Yes, I was buying this in the 20s, like 2021, under 20, I saw it as a steal, and I continue to see it as a great deal moving forwards. I am very bullish on ChargePoint. And also another one I haven't talked about in a while, Volta, VLTA. This is at 454. Absolutely ridiculous. Market cap of $730 million. We were at a 52-week high of 1833. 52-week low of 4, so we bounced off that 4. I'm more than happy to buy Volta as well. I mean, there's so many damn stocks out there, guys. It's really hard to pick. Like, the small caps have just been so decimated. I'm very confident that I'm just going to continue to buy into these small caps. If it takes, a month, if it takes 2 months, 3 months, 4, that's fine with me. If it takes half a year, I don't care. In the end, this is going to be a win. While it is sometimes nerve-wracking to be running into something when everyone else is running away, you got to not follow the herd. You got to do your own thing and be somewhat of a contrarian investor. When everyone else is preaching to the rooftops that this stock's going to go to 100, that's probably when it's time to start getting out and start packing your bags and leaving. But that's basically all I got for you. Also, keep an eye on Volta's earnings report on February 9. That's another thing to look for here. And we're going to get some insight into the company. Looking forward to that. It is earnings season. We've got a lot going on here. So keep an eye on what these large caps are doing as well. But that's basically it for you guys. A lot going on in this market, and small caps to me are still the best deal by a long shot. But that's basically all I got for you. Thanks so much, and I will see you next time.